it's Nika here, Vet Tech Coach. I can't believe I haven't done this video yet. It's the potty training video, something that every puppy owner needs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my big 5 for potty training. If you aren't doing these 5 things and you're struggling with potty training, start here, okay? So number 1 for potty training is you must go outside with your puppy and reward them when they go in the correct location. You cannot stand in your doorway in the wintertime and wait for your puppy to come back to the door and reward them there. They aren't going to make the right connection that you actually liked it, that they went pee or poop over there in the grass. Okay, so make sure that you are going out with them every single time and giving them a high value reward. Now, I will sometimes keep like a little Tupperware bowl outside because we all know that sometimes when they're really young, we have to like, oh, hurry up, we're going fast. And then I'll forget to have treats on me, right? So sometimes sticking a little Tupperware bowl of some treats outside with you, make sure that they are good, yummy, high value treats that the puppy loves, okay? So it's not enough just to use their dog kibble that they get every day. You can use crunchy treats. I think that'll be fine for a lot of puppies, but some really yummy, small little niblets of moist treats would be really nice for them. So that's number 1. Make sure you're going outside with your puppy every single time they have to go to make that connection, okay? Number 2, for successful potty training, and this is a big one too, prevent the possibility of accidents in your house. So this is sort of the other half of rewarding them when they go outside. Nobody wants to have to go outside with your dog every single time they go to the bathroom if you have a fenced-in yard, but this is the other half. You have to prevent them from having accidents in your home when you're not supervising. So that could be putting them in their crate. That could be using a baby gate. That could mean having them on leash hooked to your waist so that they're not going to go out of your sight and, you know, pee in the dining room or something, and you're going to find it in like an hour, right? So every puppy, very small puppies, I could say this for every single breed, does not need access to your entire house, no matter how big or small your house is. Keep their world a little bit smaller, much more manageable for you, and maybe even just an area on your tile floor. So maybe they're gated in the kitchen or, you know, the laundry room or something when you're not able to directly supervise, so that it's easier cleanup and you're certainly less frustrated as well. So an example of this that I get a lot with puppy owners that say, okay, well, I'm doing that. So I go outside with my puppy and I have treats, but then the puppy's, you know, distracted and chasing leaves and doing, you know, what the puppy's doing. And then it comes back inside and within 2 minutes, the puppy goes. Okay, so if you know you're pretty sure that your puppy needs to use the bathroom and you went outside and that did not happen, and you're pretty sure like, you know what, by now I normally get a number 2 and there's not a number 2, but I need to start getting ready for work or, you know, whatever you need to do, right? Take your puppy inside, put your puppy in the crate, go brush your teeth, start getting ready, do whatever you gotta do, come back down in like 5 minutes, take that puppy right back outside again and see if then the puppy doesn't go, right? So if you know the puppy needs to go and then you come back inside and then you get distracted because you had to go brush your teeth and then the puppy goes in the living room and you're like, ah, I just took you outside, but you kind of knew that the puppy hadn't gone yet, that's on you, okay? So make sure that you kind of orchestrate their world so that they are going to be successful, okay? So prevention of accidents, huge, all right? Okay, number 3. A quick little formula that I use for new puppies is puppies can hold it about 1 plus the number of months they are. So if you are bringing home your 8-week-old puppy, is kind of the maximum they can hold it is about 3 hours. Now, the good news is that your puppy will hold it through the night first, likely. That's pretty normal, not for another couple of weeks, but they will go longer during the night. Everybody's sleeping, there's no activity, there's no stimulation, usually no sound, that sort of thing. But so if your puppy's 8 weeks, they can hold it about 3 hours. right? So I need to be starting to think about that during my day. And if that means I need to set an alarm, or make sure that, I have some system set up so that I know like, oh, I didn't just miss a let out, okay? Along with that, puppies generally need to have an opportunity to go to the bathroom within 20 minutes of eating, drinking, sleeping, and playing. It seems like their whole life, right? So especially the sleeping thing, if a puppy wakes up from a nap and was just like napping on your floor and you notice it, you should just go right outside. Especially with, the playing thing. When I'm talking about like playing hard, like I just ran around with my friend and, whatever, usually they will need to go to the bathroom pretty quickly right after that. Eating and drinking, same thing. Input equals output. So in the morning, if you're in a pretty good schedule with your feeding, in the morning, you eat at 7 and maybe 5 in the evening or something like that, you should be getting a pee and a poop right around, those meal times, because those sort of patterns are being developed in the puppy. As a side note, I would say that puppies generally poop at least one more time than they have feeding. So if you're feeding twice a day, I usually get 3 poops a day for young puppies. If you're feeding 3 times a day, I usually get 4 poops a day. Pee, that really varies. It depends on the weather. It depends on what you've been doing and how much you've been playing and how much the puppy drank, that sort of thing. That is just sort of a little formula that you can sort of at least help to guide yourself, okay? Number 4 is using a good enzymatic cleaner to actually clean your area properly. So there are many on the market that actually have enzymes that help to break down the pheromones and things like that. They'll draw that puppy back to the area. General carpet cleaners don't usually have it. Some do. If you get the special pet formula, you just need to look. It should say enzymatic right on it. Usually they need to be sort of mixed in a way, not really shaken, but mixed, because those things kind of separate out in there. I use Nature's Miracle. I know there are others on the market too. That's just the one that I've used for many years, and the one that my carpet cleaner said that is fine to use in between times when I have them actually come and clean the carpets. It's not going to cause those stains to stick and stay and have to really worry about them coming back and using some special stuff to get it out. So even they have enzymatic cleaner for wood floors and tile floors, things like that too. So look for those things. Make sure you're using a good enzymatic cleaner to clean up, okay? And the last thing, probably one of the most important things is do not take your puppy back to the scene of the crime, okay? Do not punish your puppy when you find pee or poop. Do not rub their nose in it. That is so old school way of thinking. And when I was a kid, that's what we used to do. That is so detrimental to the relationship that you have with your puppy and actually causes more strife in getting them potty trained than any of the other things on the list. Because what happens is they learn that pee and poop makes you angry. Pee and poop makes you frustrated. Pee and poop gets them in trouble. And what you really meant to say was, I only want you to go to the bathroom outside. I don't mind pee and poop if it's outside. I hate it inside. But I really want you to understand that I wanted it outside. They don't usually make the exact connection that we had hoped in that, oh, they just want me to do it outside. What happens is they learn to be afraid of you and they learn to avoid peeing and pooping in front of you because they think they get punished when you see pee and poop. Obviously, we know that's not true. You just want it outside, but they're like, oh, I can't go. Last time I went, oh man, I got in real bad trouble, and now I'm a little bit scared to go. So what happens in these cases is it takes the puppy longer and longer and longer to go to the bathroom outside. And then you come back in because your puppy didn't go, or you thought, oh, maybe I just missed it. He already went and I just missed it. You come back in, you go to wash your hands, and then right there, within 1 minute, the puppy, you walk back into the room and the puppy has gone because you're out of sight. And they know like it's safe, right? And so then your frustration level goes up even higher because you're like, oh my gosh, I just literally took you outside. And so then you get even more frustrated, which causes this bigger reaction, of course. And then the puppy's like, oh gosh, here it comes, right? I don't understand, right? So it's really harmful to your relationship with your puppy to behave that way. And look, nobody likes pee and poop in their house. I get that. But if you set yourself up for success and for less frustration, stress and frustration by keeping them on tile or wood floor or whatever it is, right? That is a little bit easier to clean up than carpet. And follow the rules that I had, the other rules 1 through 4 that we talked about. You shouldn't need to spend any time in this rule number 5 because you have set yourself up and your puppy up for success. Okay. So very important to keep that in mind. And you know what? It's just gross. Who wants to put, their puppy's nose in poop or whatever, nobody wants to do that. So, the other thing really quick, because this is something we talk about in puppy class, this is just something that for me is something that I've seen over the years. I, help a lot of people with potty training, and this is just like general information, general guidance. First of all, there is an app to help you potty train your puppy that actually is surprisingly accurate. It's called Puddle and Pile, and you input the data, you input when the puppy goes, things like that, and it's actually pretty accurate. So it'll give you an alert that says, your puppy needs to make a pile. So it's really kind of good. It's just like $1. I think it's just $1. So this pyramid I kind of put together to kind of help people know where they were a little bit in the potty training process. So from the very beginning, so this starts sometimes even before you get your puppy. So if you get a really good breeder who was starting the process of potty training and taking these puppies outside, sometimes this is a little bit done for you, is the substrate preference. They tend to really like a particular substrate to go to the bathroom on. Lots of us want grass, right? Because that's what we normally do. But some dogs really like concrete or rocks or mulch, whatever. So building that substrate preference starts very, very early. So again, sometimes before you get them, but even when you get them, that's a perfect time as you're getting your puppy and you're like, oh, I'd like to create a little rock area where the puppy will go to help me clean it up easier. Do it. Or maybe you don't want brown spots in your yard. Do it at the very beginning, okay? So once they've kind of developed that substrate preference, once they reach that substrate, they reach the grass, they already start thinking about peeing, Okay, next is becoming body aware. So this is the ability that they have to kind of hold it if they need to, right? So it's kind of like potty training a little kid, right? In the very beginning, they literally wait till the last possible second before they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. Puppies do the same thing. So becoming body aware is kind of that next step of like, oh, I gotta go. And they run lickety split maybe to the same door that you've been taking them out. That's when you're kind of in that stage. They're like, oh, I get it. Sometimes before that, they just literally stop and pee, right? They could be, in the middle of, chewing on a bone and they'll just get up and pee. They don't have a lot of body awareness yet. The third thing that we come to on this pyramid is looking to you after they're going, as they're going or after they're going. If you are doing the steps that I talked about in the beginning of this video of going outside with your puppy every single time they go, this is a beautiful step. Before that, you're kind of really having to initiate that treat giving because they're kind of like, oh, looking all around and distracted by leaves or whatever. So when this happens, they're like, look, Mom, I'm peeing. Do you see me peeing? Yeah. And so they usually start coming to you right after they're going because they know you're going to have a treat, which makes it much easier. Then you don't have to follow them around so closely. You can just kind of stand in your spot, let them go, and they'll kind of start coming to you for you to give them their reward. After this step, you start to get this asking to go outside, right? They may be sitting at the door or like looking to you and looking at the door. You may see some of that kind of stuff. And for puppies, it's very small. So don't think you're gonna get this bark, 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 or, pawing at the door early on. Some people are lucky, they do get that. Not typical. So asking is usually very quiet. They may just go stand by the door, sit by the door, look at you, look at the door, that kind of thing. It's very small. So you really have to pay attention. Next step is they will wait even if you miss a let out. So this happens as they get a little more mature, 6-7 months. So you can kind of be like, oh, hold on, buddy, you know, and like finish what you were doing and then kind of run them outside, and they can actually hold it a little bit longer, right? They have that capability of being a little bit more patient, and they didn't maybe wait till the last possible second, or they just have a little bit more sphincter control. So that's when you know you're getting to the step of actually being potty trained, right? So you have a puppy who only goes outside where you like them to go and doesn't have accidents on the inside, okay? So a few other little side notes that I think are important to note for some maybe more challenging puppies to potty train. One is longer leashes. So for some puppies, if we get a little bit longer a leash, maybe 10, 12, 15 foot leash, if you don't have a fenced in yard and you're using a leash, sometimes getting a little bit more distance from you can really help. They have a little bit more freedom, and also then you're not having to really worry about that whole loose leash walking, and now the puppy's pulling, and now you're rewarding pulling, all that kind of stuff. So a little bit longer leash can sometimes help. And if you want to test that, just hook 2 leashes together. Most people have a couple different leashes, so just hook 2 of them together and see if that doesn't help you a little bit. Another one, distractions, of course, are huge. So when I am potty training a puppy, when I go outside, I'm pretty boring. I don't just let them lead me everywhere. I do a little. I kind of meander a little, and I'm just kind of become a little bit boring. And if I think they're getting to a spot where they're like, oh, I really like this spot, I may go over there a little bit closer, but I don't just go all over everywhere, like where they're sniffing a huge area. It's a pretty small area that I'm kind of like, and then I stand there and be boring, almost like a statue. So I'm not engaging with them. I'm not like potty, 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 I'm not doing any of that. Yes, they will become distracted with leaves. And if it's a really distracting spot, I will start to move away from that and see if I can't get them in a spot that's a little less distracting. But as a general rule, it works pretty well to just kind of stand there and be boring and just kind of meander. And then of course, as soon as they start going, then I'm starting to get ready with that treat. And then I want to be ready right as soon as that butt starts to pop up. I want to be ready with that treat to reward them for that good behavior that I liked. So, I think that's it. I think that's all I had to say about potty training. And I hope this video helps you if you've been struggling with potty training, as your puppy is aging. And certainly there are outliers in this, potty training. And if you feel like your puppy is an outlier and you feel like, something's amiss and I've kind of really done all these things very religiously and I'm still really struggling, there may be something else going on. You certainly could be dealing with a urinary tract infection. It's not uncommon. We get them too, and puppies can get them, adult dogs can get them. So double checking something like that may be in order. And for some puppies, maybe that have come from a puppy mill situation, it can be a little bit more challenging and needing a little bit more patience in the process and a little bit more maturity and consistency and with everybody in the family. I've certainly seen those dogs as well, where they have almost been forced to pee and poop in their crate because it used to fall through the grates, and now they're peeing and pooping in their crate at home too. And it can be a real challenge for some families, and I totally sympathize with that. And I've dealt with puppies like that too and helped families with those. So if you're having some extreme problems with potty training, or if there's something else, please reach out to me. Of course, my email is coach@vettechcoach.com, and my website is vettechcoach.com. So hope this video helps you, and have a great day, everybody.